Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude BeyondMystic, and welcome to tonight's edition of Tarot Readings by Janine. You can find Janine at Sending Ravens here on YouTube and also on Tarot by Janine. Janine, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Hi, Jean-Claude. Hi, everybody. I'm doing great.
What were you up to today? Did you enjoy the weather?
You know what? I went to the spa.
Oh.
The Ritual Spa in Crowfoot. Oh, yeah. We've shouted it out before. I love that place.
Yes. Very good. Well, good for you. Good for you. In these chaotic days we live in, sometimes we just need to go to the spa and disconnect from everything. Totally agree with you. Man, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us here on this live interactive show. We did promise you on Monday that we were going to be talking about Ottawa and Canada. Specifically, you guys had a bunch of questions for us in the live show, and we figured we'd start with that here tonight. We're also going to talk about Quebec. They just lifted the ban, or they're about to lift the ban on the face coverings here in the next couple of weeks, so we'll talk about that. And then we have a huge slide deck, most of it relating to the economy, and today being May 4th, and May 4th be with you. So there's a lot going on there, and perhaps even more than we think, and it's connected to what's happening also in the theater of war. So big show here tonight. We're going to try to get through all of it. Before we start, I want to thank everyone here again for supporting Janine, and I want to let you know that I also extended that coupon code till the end of this week. So if you go on the beyondmystic.net/Janine page, link that's on the screen right now, there's a couple of ways that you can support us, and that coupon code is still valid till the end of the week. I know a lot of you had trouble with PayPal and kept emailing me, so I'm like, okay, just let it go for a few more days here, and hopefully that will all resolve itself. Now, on top of that, tonight we have a beautiful pyramid for the PayPal tip jar donators. This is, of course, from Carla at Ascension Organite. Let me bring that up on the screen. This is Teresa. Let's see what she'll say.
And today I have Teresa. Teresa is inspired by the powerful divine feminine. She was actually inspired by a very powerful woman that I know. And she was also created with a lot of the hues, colors that remind me of a Miami sunset. So she is made of brass metals and tiger's eye crystals with the flower of life in gold. So tiger's eye is a great stone for self-motivation, self-inspiration, as well as protection. So she would be great to place in the entrance of the house or somewhere where there's a lot of traffic in the home or an office even. I'll give her a quick turn around so you can see her. And there she is, there's Teresa. Hope you guys like her, and I'll see you guys soon.
Thank you so much, Carla. And of course, it does look like a Miami sunset. Now I feel weary because, of course, I can't still travel, but we'll be asking those questions here in a second. Of course, you can save 10% on these amazing creations using the coupon code BeyondMystic, and you can find those at ascensionorganites.com. Janine, how's your pyramid doing? Do you have it in that one, the one that was gifted, the purple one?
Yeah, I have it. No, I moved it to my room.
Oh, your bedroom.
When I swapped everything around, yeah, it's across from my bed facing me. Yeah, right. It feels good there.
I love it. I have the purple one in my room also. Okay. I don't know, there's something about that organization. Yeah. It's absolutely beautiful. Okay, let's start with Canada. Oh, Canada. Let me see if I can bring up an appropriate picture here. Okay, Canada will ensure border officials know Americans can travel for abortion. Okay, we'll get into this Roe versus Wade thing a little bit later on the show. But let's start, Janine, with a general reading on the situation in Canada. Let's talk about the leadership. Let's talk about the merging with the NDP party. And generally speaking, let's take a pulse of how they are doing inside of the, let's say, the dark organization trying to run the show here in Canada. We'll just put it that way right now. Are we seeing cracks, or are they still very much firmly in control right now? Let's see what the cards have to say.
It's exactly the opposite of that. Unbeknownst to everybody, they're not running the show. Okay, so it's just not known to you who's really running the show. There's been deals made on the back channels. And so they're showing that the bad guys are running the show, but they're just not ready to show you that they're not running the show. That's good news.
Wow. Yeah.
That's good news. The near future outcome. So we've got the Empress and the Ace. soon to be brought in the public who's really running the show. And some big change in our money system looks imminent with an ace like that and the Empress.
We'll get into the money situation a little bit later because, of course, today the Fed announced their 50% hike in the interest rates, and it's getting a lot of people upset, including the markets, and we've seen crypto, gold, and silver react to that today. We'll get into that and how that translates to Canada and why perhaps India is also superseding that announcement here today. But let's dive a little bit further into Canada. Okay, let's go back to a scenario in the Webbot reports that were forecasting basically a newly constituted Canada. So I want to go back on that. We have not seen that materialize or visible in any way, shape, or form in our mainstream in any official DEM report. But let's take a pulse as to that reconstitution. Are we already there? Are we 50% there? What's going on? Oh, wow.
It happened already in the background. So we've got this 6. So that's a reason to celebrate and a victory lap and an ace around your question. So the thing's real. What you're talking about is upon us, okay? It happened in the background, and it's a safely guarded secret here. See all these cards?
Yeah.
I wish I could put all 4 of them up at once, but those are amazing. So nothing that you're seeing, this is going to be hard for people, but is real.
Yeah.
Thank goodness, because we'd be in really deep doo-doo if that was what was really going on was real. Okay, so very next thing to happen. So this is like as it progresses here. So basically this comes on the outcome. Oh, sorry, that card's on the outcome. So that looks like military. So I feel like some kind of situation where the military step out, where the good guys show themselves, I hope that's true, but that's what it looks like. So this is the next thing to see.
Okay, a couple of wow, yes. Okay, a couple of things first. I gave a heart attack to a few people here. Apparently, Strawberry Fields, JC, 50%. No, 50 basis points, 0.5%, which is still huge in the context of the Fed always crying wolf that they're going to raise rates, and they never do. Or if they do, they retract, and they usually go at a quarter basis point. But here they are at 50 basis points. But yeah, okay. So I misspoke. Maybe I don't know. I'll have to go back and rewind the tape. I am translating from French, and it just is what it is. So please don't have a heart attack. But yes, it's still huge, and the markets don't like it at all here today. Okay, so let's go back to what you just said, Janine, the military part. There's another component in there in some of these predictive linguistics that said that we here in Canada might be invaded, quote unquote, similar to what's happening in another country right now, and the target would be laboratories. Let's just say it that way. And we just had this huge announcement over the weekend. I think you and I talked about it on Monday, of this big laboratory now in full view being installed in Montreal. So there's that. But I don't think that's the one they're talking about. I think the predictive linguistics might have been talking to something out west, maybe something inside the mountain range, also closer to where you are. So let's dive into that, because you said there was a military card in there. Is that possible here, that we could see a type of invasion, not against the Canadian people, not against the government per se, but against these particular installations? I guess that's the safe way to say it.
You bet.
Wow.
Might already be on some level ongoing, or certainly is planned, but it's not out in the open yet. So that's a big yes.
Okay.
And let's pull 2 more.
Okay.
It's definitely not against the people.
Right.
It'll be to our advantage in the big picture, but it looks like something like what you're talking about is coming.
Is it possible that as a precursor to that, in this global situation, to call it that, were we seeing some of those wildfires out west? Some of them are natural. We've had these for a long time, since I was a kid, but lately in the last couple of years, we had some really, really weird ones. Were those related to perhaps some inner fighting underneath those particular mountain ranges in that area? Let's see what the cards have to say.
Oh yeah. They were upheavaling. This guy can be doing covert operations, especially when badly aspected. So covert operations going on. So it was an upheavaling. And when we did look at them periodically over the last year and a half, we were getting that they likely, like that one town that destroyed the whole little town.
Right.
That looked orchestrated, but interesting by the white hats. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Kind of shocking that we got that, but that would make sense to what we're now seeing here.
Wow. Okay. So I'm going to see if I can see more specific questions from the audience on this. And again, it's difficult to navigate here on the live show on YouTube. You mentioned something about the economy. Okay, so let me just rephrase some of the few things here for the audience members. So just a month or two ago during the rally, the government of Canada overreached, I think, in many cases, or at least in my opinion, in many cases, and it resulted into capital outflows where a lot of normies realized that their money wasn't safe and they were trying to find ulterior ways to save their hard-earned money, and that included gold, silver, and also crypto. Now that put the banking system into a panic, the overseers into a panic as well. Are we still living under that panic per se here in Canada in terms of the overseers, or is there another outside threat right now, maybe exacerbating the situation that could accelerate us leading into also having a new currency in Canada here, and perhaps a collapse of sort of our banking system here?
Okay, I'm getting it already happened in the background. You're just not seeing it yet.
Still, wow.
See that card? And it already happened. And so interesting that it's something to do with gold or metals, maybe, with that card.
Yeah.
And we've got surrender in the middle. That was in the middle. So surrender to, you're not seeing it, but you're almost ready to see it because we've got a 10 here. So the facade has to be done. Here's the next thing that happens, another 10, more wealth available.
Yeah. Okay.
Interesting. So it doesn't look like it goes as bad as like everybody's saying how bad it'll be, but I never see that in the cards.
My guess too, and again, it's my feeling of it, we go through a tough time maybe removing the parasites, but at the end of it, we are in better control and in more abundance than we are now, simply by the removal of this parasitic force. So yeah, I agree with you. Now, how that happens and when that happens, I don't know, but it appears that we're getting closer and closer and closer when you're looking at all the news right now. Okay, for Canada, I guess the last question I see a few people asking in the chat, when can we travel? Let's try to take a pulse, latest pulse on that one as well. And while you pull those cards too, I wanted to show the audience members, this is the announcement from this weekend on the new installation in Montreal. So you guys can go check that out. But they were talking about producing, don't quote me on this, the article's not there, but 80 million doses here in the next couple of years. I'm like, why do they need 80 million doses when even Mr. F in the States is talking about an endemic, that we're at the endemic stage? So there's weird stuff going on there. And again, it ties into perhaps this invasion thing, because I think they're losing a lot of installations in other places around the world, and they're trying to recoup where they can and where they think they still have a good footing, including here. Okay, so Janine, let's get back to, can we travel soon? What's the pulse?
Okay. So we're at the very end of not being able to travel. Please, let us travel. And aren't we the only country left who can't travel?
Yep.
Canada, the only ones.
Yep.
Okay, so these are really good cards surrounding a really hard card. So we're at the very end. Tens in tarot mean you're at the end of, and then it starts an ace again. So new things happen. This is the next thing. Could be any day now, and could be really unexpected circumstances that create it. So it may not be just all of a sudden they just normally announce it. It could be because of weird circumstances. Because this card says, right out of the blue, that gets ditched.
Well,
right out of the blue.
And people think we're crazy sometimes. I agree, because it is a crazy world. Tip jar. Okay, I'll put it up in a sec. Hold on. Thank you. I appreciate that. It is a crazy world. And just until yesterday, the officials in Quebec were saying, oh, no, you're going to deal with this forever. And then suddenly today they're announcing, oh no, on May 14th now we're removing this mandate. So let's ask the question about Quebec. What just flipped the switch? Why are they suddenly, because, just 2 days ago, they were talking about this variant that only exists in Quebec and they're following the data and they can't do anything about it, blah, blah, blah. The risk is high. And now suddenly, oh no, here you go.
Yeah.
I'm just curious what happened. Who's pulling the strings behind this one? What's going on?
The good guys. Okay, so they're expecting truth to come out, some big dump of truth. And so they have to get on board with, they can't push those agendas anymore. She is integral in truth. She's also very sovereign and not afraid. So
Right.
I think they're expecting things to change. I think we're going to see a lot of changes for the positive, even here in Canada with that 9 of Cups in the middle. So what we're wishing for finally happens. I can think of a lot of things that could be. And all kinds of things start changing right after that.
Right.
So I feel like an announcement right out of the blue, similar to that, happens about the travel too. So they just can't.
That interesting, because if there is huge turmoil, and remember when the Liberal government fused or merged with the NDP, everywhere in their press release, the talking points they had sent out to all the media broadcasters was for stability. That was the main focus. And so I heard from that, okay, there's instability and they're trying to create this veneer of stability for the population, knowing that perhaps something was on the horizon. So removing this mandate, maybe removing the travel mandates are also a way to ease the pressure down in the angry population, because they know there's much bigger fish to fry here coming up very shortly down the pipe. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally makes sense.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I pulled while you were saying that.
Oh, wow.
So, there's situations around this whole world event or this whole world situation that I think suddenly, once again, upheavals everything.
Yeah. Big snowball effect. Okay. Gisela, sure. Let's do Australia. Another, I guess, Five Eyes country, very similar here in the Commonwealth. Let's take a general pulse on Australia also while we're at it. And then we'll go to Cuba. Interesting news coming out of Cuba today. So let's look at Australia first. And thank you everyone for asking for the PayPal tip jar. Sorry, I'm just a little bit, a lot going on here tonight. I'll bring that back on the screen for you guys. And I will be opening up that window in a second here also. There you go. Okay, go ahead, Jenny.
Australia capitulated. Like they already, like I always get that in the background. They're being closely monitored even by off-world, and if you likely you'll see a lot of off-world activity, UFO activity like that, ships and things. I feel like they're really present around them. In fact, that might be the first place to really break the news of the veil being lifted for off-worlders. That could be your first place.
Wow.
And the Queen of Cups. Yeah, we might be waiting for maybe all of this changes when the Queen goes down finally officially.
Wow.
Yeah, these are waiting cards, and then there's a Queen in the middle. Although she doesn't usually represent the Queen, but the real Queen is long gone, as far as I'm concerned. So, yeah. I think that's what we're waiting for. And so because we're Commonwealth countries, both us and the Australia, I know there's other Commonwealth countries, but for some reason they're really putting the nails to Canada and Australia.
Yeah.
So all of this looks like good things coming. We just need it to happen today.
Wow. Okay. What about Brazil, JC? Hey, we've never done Brazil. So, okay, Ricardo, hold on a moment. I need to go back to Cuba for a second, and then we'll do Brazil. It'd be interesting to see what's going on in Brazil too. Okay, so in Cuba right now, similarly to here in Canada, I mean, the population, there's a portion of that population that is absolutely unwilling These are the same people who, you know, the extremists who love freedom and all those things, you know, those guys. Right now, they're also big into crypto, and it's causing some response here from the government. And of course, they're trying to, the population, use crypto to avoid US sanctions and also the tyranny and the control over there. So let's take a pulse on the health of the democracy in Cuba. Are the handlers losing power there too? Is the people finally getting close to that moment, that break free moment? And Sophie Landeville was saying, yeah, Cliff High was talking about UFOs here very soon, and you just mentioned that for Australia, so I thought that I'd bring that up. So merci, Sophie Landeville, that's a great comment. So Cuba, what's the pulse of that democracy right now?
Okay, Cuba was really infested, and there's still some activity underground, like that's not being able, they're not able to fully get to. But they've done a lot of work. So they, being maybe the Alliance and the White Hats, they've done a lot of work because we've got a large portion. So this is a major arcana. This is a minor arcana. So the negative card's a minor arcana. So there's a lot less trouble or problem areas, but there are some really deep down underground, okay, that they're going to need to finalize some of the cleaning out of that. Yeah, so I think they're in sort of a little behind on getting the government in, like, because it feels like the government, there's still a lot of government peoples doing the old agendas or still relying on the dark cult sort of agenda that was originally laid out, that a lot of the other countries have capitulated and are just being puppeted. This is what I've been getting. But this place looks like it's still got a tug of war going on between, and it's hard to even decipher who's bad and who's good there.
Okay, JC, can you please also do a reading? Okay, hold on. Okay, maybe I'll have time on that one. Okay, my thoughts are scattered. There's so much in here because you just mentioned something about underground, and I've been following this story now for over 20 years. This was the Sunken City, pyramids, all off the course of Cuba on the west side, northwest side, I believe it was. And these were Canadian doctors that had been hired to use this new side scan sonar technology way back when. And they came up with these structures, and then National Geographic shut down the whole stuff, and they never got their footage again. Is that a connection right now to what you're saying? There's a battle underground, or perhaps here underwater. There's technology here, or perhaps remnants of civilizations. And that's really the focus of perhaps this clampdown on Cuba. It had nothing to do with the missile crisis. This was all like smoke and mirrors. What's going on with that?
I think it was smoke and mirrors. I think they discovered organizations, nefarious ones under there, or they were in danger of finding out about those, or they might have even found out about them. So the ways that they make money, the dark cult, so underground, so you can imagine nefarious sort of activities that they do. Yeah, so I feel like they suddenly came upon they were almost ready to discover that, so they had to shut it down.
Wow. Okay, that's fascinating. Yeah, I want to do another show on that because it connects also to Antarctica. We might have to do that on a special investigation, like pay-per-view stuff. So, okay. Okay, before I go back to my slide deck, there was another person on the screen here. Where did I put that comment? Where was it? Brazil. Ricardo. Brazil. Okay. Let's do a general read on Brazil. Thank you, Ricardo. And while I do that, also, you seem to be frozen, Janine. Okay, no, you're back. Okay, good. While I do that, I'll bring up
my head down while I was doing my.
Okay, I'll bring up the PayPal tip jar again here for you guys, and I will be opening that to take some questions there as well as the Insider Access Pass. So big thank you.
Okay, very similar story to Cuba, underground, undercover, but like still some elements of tug of war between good and evil there. They're not fully capitulated either. In fact, there could even be, they could really need some, I feel like this is the next thing that happens. So they're going to really need to clean them out with military. They're going to have to get real strong armed with Brazil. Because there's some real stuck energy that didn't get the memo that their side lost. So,
wow.
Yeah, they're not willing to bend over for the white hats, basically.
Right. Okay. Guys, we can travel the whole world here. I have questions from everywhere in the country. Maybe we'll do a whole episode, and that's what we'll do. We'll do every single country, or as best as we can here. There's a lot, and there's still a lot of news on my slide deck, and we're already almost halfway through the show. So I think I'll leave it at that for now. If I have time, I'll pick some more here in the live chat. But I appreciate you guys asking. There's just so many things to talk about, not enough time. Janine, Amy Welcher. Okay, this is interesting. It just, dude, of all the questions I pick, I put my cursor on it, and she says, last week I asked a question about, I was in a spacecraft and there was a man hovering over me, fixing me, upgrading me by a man or a robot, like I was a robot, something like that. Anyways, last week I remember I signed up to be a warrior when I was 6. Janine said in the cards, being upgraded psychically. Okay, did I sign up for the secret space program? So she wants to know a little bit more of, she was being upgraded, as you said, but for what? Space program? Anything else? Ambassadorship training for new relationships with off-world friendlies? Amy Welcher, what's up with her?
Not quite the secret space program. Something different than that, because this card's even more exotic or something. I don't know what that means, but so something very unique that maybe we don't talk about yet. It'll be a surprise when you find out. And they sign people up when they're really young for this one. And then they kind of part-time grow up there and you know what I mean? Because it feels like they're spending conscious time there and on Earth throughout their life. That's the feeling I'm getting. They're doing really good work, though. So they're doing things for the benefit of humanity. So that's good to know. And it wants to remain a secret. We don't get any more than that. Like it's a big secret. So ask your intuition, or keep asking yourself to be told in your own intuitive voice from your own intuition what it is. If you haven't started a relationship with your intuitive knowing yet, really work on that. And I like to ask my intuitive self before I go to sleep. I'll say things like, okay, I'm waiting to hear more information. I'll take it in a dream or a vision. Show me a sign for more on that.
And please help me remember when I wake up.
You have to get real specific with them that you want to know. They want to hear it from you.
And you want to remember when you wake up. Also, to help saying that, and also maybe keep a pen and a piece of paper next to the bed, because you might wake up at 3 a.m. and like, oh, I have it, it's clear, and then you wake up at 8 and you completely forget. So write it down at 3 a.m. if you do wake up from your slumber. Yeah. Okay, Kristen, John Travolta. Oh, this is a cool question. I'm not sure how to read it actually. John Travolta, very reliable friend, saw him in Largo, Florida, at 2 a.m. riding his bike, and who's they, chatted for 45 minutes. A friend and reliable. Okay. So Kristen's friend, a reliable friend, saw John Travolta. Is that how I read it? Was it him? What's the story? Okay. What's Travolta doing down there? And is there other connections there we need to know about? Have you ever read on Travolta also doing a deep dive with Ashley? Do you remember? I don't think so.
I might have.
Yeah.
But, seems to me he was a bad guy.
Yeah, the whole Scientology stuff too. Like I knew that was my gut. But let's take a pulse. He might, like other people, have switched and working for the other side.
That's true.
Let's see. Yeah, Kristen, that's a good question. We'll try to muddle through that a little bit here. Bike ride at 2 a.m. in Florida. Okay. John Travolta on a bike.
Okay. That wasn't him. It might have been a younger version. So we could be talking clone. Right? Younger version. And then the moon, smoke and mirrors, and or someone not alive. Okay, so that's weird. So I'm thinking clone. So there's something eerie about that, with that moon sitting next to this card. A younger version, a more in shape version, clone, I'm thinking.
Whoa.
Deep secret card next to it, deep, and maybe even not living, or a reflection of a younger version of John Travolta. I bet if you literally saw him today, think about his age. Think about him. Okay, how old should he really be? Like, and what should he be really looking like? Okay, so the friend, did he look like 10, 15, 20 years ago, John Travolta, right? Like, well, how old is he? I can't remember. He's got to be like my age.
He's getting up there for sure.
I'm 61, so how old is he? I don't know. He seems that age group or older. Yeah, so that was not officially him. And then we got a trickery card around it. I think we got a clone on our hands here.
This is 68.
Yeah, 68, right? So he should be looking a little older at 68. Look at even, that's not a 68-year-old. I don't see that up close, but I'm just guessing that we're looking at something else, or we're looking at somebody who took the party substance a lot or something. Why don't we ask? So that wasn't him. So let's ask what he's up to and the real John Travolta. What's going on? Why don't we ask that?
Okay, sure.
Yeah, because that wasn't him. Not with all those tricky cards. No way.
Okay. Shasta Fogg says Carrie Cassidy's interview warns of May 5th, 2022. Yeah, it could be the May 4 also today. Like, there's a lot of weird. And this whole month, if you guys haven't seen the Astro Woo Finance Show, it's convergence of convergence on top of convergence. So please, yes, you're absolutely right. There's weird shit. And also, if you want to check out this last episode of the Beyond Crypto Woo, everything happening in May, it's absolutely a critical show. So if you haven't seen it, please do go support us and check it out. Okay, Janine.
Justice. 3 of Swords. I think he's facing some kind of justice, and it's very stressful. And this was in the past, so I think he got rounded up, because that's my Mr. T in the white hats and/or the Alliance card. I think he got rounded up by the good guys, and he's facing stuff for his past, what he's been up to, justice for the past. It's really stressful. So he's in a stressful place. I don't think he actually gets taken off the earth plane though, so that's interesting. Maybe he'll bring some really good info, because this card's the near future outcome, or maybe they send him away planetarily and or somewhere altogether off the earth plane, but not in the horrific way that, like, say, George W. Bush Sr. got sent off. It's not like that.
Right. Okay. Okay, we'll leave it at that. We might do a Hollywood show, we said, with Julie the other day, I think, live. A lot of people are asking about the Johnny Depp thing, so maybe we'll follow that back a little bit more. Jerome, I agree with what Jerome is saying. He says, hey, I'm 73 and I don't look like I'm 73. You're right, Jerome. You look good for 73. And yes, it doesn't mean that if you look good at 73 that you're, of course, taking these party drugs. It doesn't mean that.
No.
But for these Hollywood types, there's
Yeah, because if you looked at his skin real close, and I know they do a lot of stuff, but then it can go too far. Yeah.
Okay. And Jerome, you do look good. So if you're single, ladies, Jerome's the man. Okay, Jules 929. I love this. From the Insider Access Pass. She says, hello, love you guys, love you too. Question. I feel like I've reached a plateau in my ascension process. What can the cards tell me about how to best use this time to prepare for my next step? Dude, that's a great question. A lot of people are feeling that right now. Jules 929. Big thank you. Janine, what do we have for Jules? Next. Jerome says LOL. I don't know if he's single. I'm just messing with you, man. I love you. Okay. Okay. We'll leave it at that. Okay, Jules 929. Plateau. What can she do?
Something about public speaking and or writing and or getting the word out about something. There's something that she knows that maybe needs more communication, and it might have something to do with independence or sovereign, or how to be, maybe she's got a lot of skills in remaining independent outside the system. I don't know, because this card come up. So maybe just being incredibly independent, and maybe she needs to talk about that, do a YouTube about that, how did she remain so independent or outside the system, or how did she red pill, or how did she, some kind of sharing. So it says if you want to put any more energy out there, some kind of sharing would be really good. Yeah. She has something to share that would be really useful for the rest of. So even if she does it in a blog form or writes it out, or it does, writing or speaking comes to mind with this, but you could also use visuals to express something and you know it really well. And it might be a good idea and a lot of people, because this card says she might underestimate herself because it's where she's coming from. This card can underestimate and sometimes defeat, self-defeat. Might have talked her out of doing it in the past. Like, oh, there's so many other people doing that, or there's many, everybody will hear it different. Like somebody might really like listening to me, but then other people can't stand me. You know what I mean? Like if somebody loves listening to, another truther who's saying maybe even the same things, but they just love hearing it from them, and they don't like my voice, or they don't like that person's hairdo, or you know what I mean? Background.
Yeah, she just texted, thank you. And I wish I knew what I was supposed to be sharing. LOL. That's the most common thing I hear when YouTubers start. They're like, I don't have anything to say. I'm like, yeah, just put up a camera. You'll see. You have a lot to say. And people like Janine said, maybe it's just your frequency. Maybe you're saying the same stuff, but maybe people will finally listen because you can deliver that in a much more resonant frequency to them. Yeah. So that's one thing, Jules. And as Janine was talking also, if you can and you have access to any of those sacred sites, ley lines, energy hotspots, maybe go for a reboot there. Spend some time, meditate, communicate, put your feet in the ground, try to ground there, and see what those sites are also telling you. Janine?
Ask and she'll receive. So the universe says, they've been showing it to her, but she's busy looking over here. So it's not a typical thing. It's something else she takes for granted. Like for years and years, I took for granted that I channel. I thought I was literally had a very overly active imagination. That's what my mom told me. Because I'd go home and tell her all these stories about the neighbors. She thought I was like a little cuckoo. And maybe I was too busy being nosy about the neighbors. And I'm like, no, I was just picking up on their stories. And psychologically, I had them all nailed. I had it all figured out. And I was like 8, 9 years old. I used to fill notebooks about the neighbors, okay? But I was only studying them because I love studying humans, not because I was nosy. But my mom told me I was nosy and I had an overactive imagination. And here I was channeling them, okay? Wow. So I had it going on, but nobody told me I did. They told me something else. Maybe she needs to look at what she's been told and what she says inside her head. Like telling yourself you don't know something, you're going to stay in not knowing. If you start saying something more loving and positive, like whatever it is I have to share, the universe will show me and guide me. Okay. If you started saying that and just believed in herself and believed that that was possible, it would come to her. But she already put a big block on it by saying she doesn't know what it is. It's sitting right there. So you have to assume the position as if you do know until you know. You have to walk it as if it's already coming. You have to fake it till you make it. That's how everything I've ever done, I faked it first. I pretended it was already true. That's the only way it works here. This is a magical place.
I'm going to add another piece to that. Hopefully I don't make anybody shy. Again, because she keeps asking. And so there's the sacred sites and there's also the sexuality. So in the Taoist terms, when you're at the big O, you remove the gate between heaven and earth, and you have the clearest channel to your higher self. So you could do that in your dream state, as before, as we said to the other viewer, but also here with the intention when you're at that state to download that information for you. So you don't need to be quiet and listening. It'll come through very hard if you direct it that way. And again, there's techniques about that. I believe it could be this Montauk Chia book. I read it a few years ago, but I think it's that one. There might be another one here too. Alchemy of Sexual Energy. I don't think it's that one. At any rate, that's a hint. You guys, go check it out. But yes, indeed, you are at your highest state. And that's the point too with all of this distortion in our lives, where we don't spend a lot of time there. We don't practice that. It's because they don't want us connected with our higher self. Just like for the longest time, all of these drugs that also open us up there are also banned. It's for a reason. They don't want you to be empowered with your own energy from a non-local state. Anyways, okay, another question. So very, very good. Thank you so much, Julie. Molly Hawk, question. Please ask the cards the link to silver and helping with ascension systems. Oh, ascension systems. I think she means symptoms. Thanks, and I appreciate all your hard work. Molly Hawk. Okay, let's see what the cards have to say. We've talked about how silver has this psychic ability. It's used in a lot of technology, apparently, and also in the space programs. Technology where you can connect your mind to other devices using silver. There is some type of apparatus in the human body also that reacts in the brain to silver. Cliff High was talking about that a couple of months ago in a video interview. So there is something there, but let's ask the cards specifically as it pertains to ascension symptoms. So detoxing, hearing voices, anything that people are dealing with right now. How can silver help them? Let's see what the cards have to say.
And is she talking about that liquid silver?
She doesn't say chelated silver, or no, she's just saying silver in general. I don't think she's talking about ingesting it. I know some people do in different forms, but she didn't mention that.
It's something of a conductor.
Mm-hmm.
So conducting, because this water conducts, right? So it feels like, and it's very emotional, or it conducts emotional body.
Right.
So it can heal emotional issues. And that's interesting because I'm drawn to wearing it all the time. And actually, when I don't have all my silver on, I feel weird. Yeah. And I like even the nose ring is silver. And I just like it on me.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, wearing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it feels like it's very helpful to conduct emotional or shift emotional energy.
Sleeping with it also, for sure. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Really cool. Molly, I hope that helps. Just while we're there, quick update here. These bars are still not open to the public. I'm still waiting for everybody. We're almost there, folks. There was a lot of issues trying to get everybody who was on the pre-order list to finally get access to all of this. There were shipping problems. This is a whole new endeavor for both Andy and I, and we're doing our best here. But we're almost there. I believe we're at 95% of the people who had put their name on the pre-waiting list. So I wanted to make sure that those guys absolutely get the quantities and the bar they were looking for before we release it out to the general public. But we're almost there. So maybe by next week, I'll be making a video to basically give you the next steps on that. But for now, we are still processing all of the amazing people who had filled out the pre-order list a month or 2 months ago now. We're just trying to fulfill all of that, and then we will be taking the next steps. But yes, these are absolutely cool. If you want to do some psychic stuff with them, of course, the tarot card in there, the star card, and the Beyond Mystic logo, a lot of symbology in there. So hopefully you guys, when we go to the public here, and I know a lot of you have already received them. You guys keep sending me pictures, and I want to do an episode where I'm going to show all of you members with these new bars in your hands. Big thank you to all of you emailing me those pictures. In the meantime, if you guys are looking for silver, yes, the Beyond Mystic discounts for this week from Miles Franklin. The 100-ounce bars are still there. The candy bar is still there. But what's new this week, the 10-ounce Australia Silver Kangaroos. These are $5.50 over a spot. Really cool product. This is a 10-ounce round. And then you also have these 1 kilo round bars of the Kahlúas. Really cool. It's not Kahlúas. I think I need a Kahlúa drink, Janine, on the beach somewhere. It's that Miami sunset, Carla. It triggered me at the beginning of the show. I'm thinking Kahlúas. Okay, koalas. Yes, the 1 kilo around here. Absolutely good price at $4.50 over spot. So please do check it out at beyondmystic.net/silver. And on the Canadian side, for you Canadian members, mfbullion.ca is the place to be. They're the 10-ounce silver bars from Pamp Swiss at $5.99 over spot Canadian. Okay, there's a question here from Gypsy Mama. How do I ask a question in the Insider Access Pass? I'm a recent new subscriber. Okay, so let me go through. I had this open in a sec. Hold on. Where do I find that? Okay, so guys, if you're an Insider Access Pass member, you do have access to what we call our Discord channel. This is the community chat for all of the members who are helping each other, whether that's on crypto, on astrology, all of these things. A beautiful community there. So once you're a member here and you log into the site, you get into the main Insider Access Pass page here, and this is where you see all the videos that we've just uploaded. Okay, but at the top here, this blue button, that's what you need to click on. You need to have your own Discord channel set up on your device, but once you click on this invite, it'll bring you into our live chat, and I monitor that here on the side to try to pick some questions for you guys there. So Gypsy Mama, I hope that helps. A big thank you to all of you who are joining us on the Insider Access Pass membership. I really appreciate that. It helps us do what we do here on a nightly basis. JC, what's happening in the UK? Okay, I'll take that one. Janine, what the hell's happening in the UK? It's a bloody mess down there. Did I get the accent right? I don't know. I'm getting tired of getting guys. I think that sounded more Scottish. I got it completely wrong.
I'm gonna say, that didn't sound UK. Okay, so
I was gonna say something else. I'm like, I should stop if I'm digging my own grave here.
Okay. Wow. Okay, things are happening for sure, even though it seems like they're not. So there's a lot of undercover stuff going on that's going to bring sovereign and freedom, sovereignty and freedom. Is sovereignty a word?
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to bring, like, she's independent. They're going to be independent of, and it's coming fast here. So there's so many things. It isn't just one. Like, London Bridge will fall. There's that. And then there's a whole bunch of stuff. Maybe even that starts it, and everything's like, this card's like literally a windfall of stuff happening. It's coming fast for them. It feels like nothing's been happening. This is in the past, and they're feeling like, oh man, everybody forgot about us. We're just sitting in doldrums. A lot of people felt that way in the last month. That's not the case. There's going to be a lot of things that change your situation. And it's going to get a little tricky before it gets better again. Like everybody, I feel like there's things coming that are going to be tricky and financially tricky for a short time while we change over from one financial system to another.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a big changeover in financial systems, and it's going to be tricky for a while. You might not be able to get into your bank account. You might not be able to access your funds. It's going to look bad for a while.
PayPal is wonky as shit, guys. Again, please don't email me. I know I don't control PayPal. You guys can order yesterday, and then today you can't order. It's really up to them. They're having a lot of issues, I believe, with the SWIFT payment system, and the ACH, or the connections in the background, is giving a lot of people this a string too long or string too short code under thing. Has nothing to do with our site. It's really them. So I really apologize, but it's one of those things that we had been forecasting for months. We knew this was coming. So there are glitches, and hopefully we can work around them. Go ahead, Jenny.
I wonder if everything connected to money systems is going to be glitching, because that's kind of what these cards are saying. So the UK is going to feel it, like everybody, I think, will, but they're really kicking out the dark cult. Okay, so that's really what's going on behind the scenes. These guys are leaving. And the biggest thing to shift here is the government gets the toss. That's the corrupt government getting the toss. Okay, and I think that's for everybody. We're gonna have that. That has to happen. Our governments have to be outed. Yeah. And I know it's coming for everybody. I know it is. Yeah. And I think when it happens, it kind of happens. Maybe it'll start one place, but it'll be like all of a sudden everywhere is outed. Yeah. That's what I think. It has to go like that, because they can't just do it one place and then wait, and then, because that'll tip off all the people that still haven't got the memo that their team lost and whatever. That'll tip them off. I think they got to just clamp it down. Yep,
exactly. Vicky Joe, Amy's. You read my mind. I'm closing the show on a reading on May 5. So hold on. We'll be right back to you. Man, some people are psychic on this show. As I was talking, somebody had sent me this one just a couple of days ago. It's still in my queue. This is one of our moderators receiving her 10-ounce tarot star card. Yeah, they're really cool. They're thicker. They're a little bit smaller, but they're thicker. I love the feel of them too. They're really, really cool. So thank you to whoever sent me that. I believe it's Jenny, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, thank you. And again, next week when I do a show, I'll share some updates of you guys sending me all of these amazing pictures. Some of you did nice stack designs, and I was like, oh wow, you guys are amazing. I love it, especially with the crystals. People are using them already in their grids with their crystals to do their meditation and all that, and like they're coming up with these amazing designs. So if you guys want to have your picture on the show, just I guess email it to me would be the best way through the site, and we'll try to get that on the screen for you guys. Okay, so next question here before we end the show. We're 48 minutes in. Okay, we're still doing good time. This was weird, Janine. The Pope admitting that perhaps, just perhaps, NATO kind of, provoked what's happening in the theater over there. And we're like, yeah, no shit, buddy. Why is he suddenly saying the truth, Janine? What's going on here? Or why is the person playing the person finally kind of making sense here today? Okay, so I did a poll for May 5th because I thought you were doing that. But let me reshuffle, and then we'll meet right at the end. Okay. Okay, so sorry about that.
Well, that's okay. So what the heck? Who's pulling his strings is what I'd like to know. But is that how you're asking it?
Yeah. Yeah. Or what universe wants us to know with this cryptic message? Why suddenly is there truth there? And of course, if he had a Twitter account right now, he'd be suspended. Oh, maybe not with Elon Musk at the reins, but you just see, like, this is the type of stuff you're not even able to say out here without huge vitriol. So the Pope is saying,
they're showing you he's flipped.
Yeah.
Like he's been flipped. But I mean, I don't think that's really him. So remember, that's some kind of CGI and or they're using his image. Like we've been looking at the real Pope's been taken off the scene quite a while. Like, do you remember that video of when Mr. T and his wife went and visited the Pope, and those funny faces the Pope was making, they were catching on camera? That's obviously when he capitulated, found out they had everything on his, well, I won't say what I really think of him right now, but they gave him, fed him the riot act on that visit. I'm sure of it. And the pictures were just a riot. But anyway, so he's definitely up doing a big calm for the good guys. And it's because, and what I mean by that is a signal. And it's because they want to signal that things are flipped from what you think they're this, but they're that. Like, even if the Pope looks like he's still real, that whole thing's been flipped. Okay. And then you're on your way to, and this seems to be the theme of the evening. We get to be more free here. We get to become, she is self-reliant financially. She doesn't rely on the government. She doesn't rely on her husband and or wife. She's self-reliant. I think we're all moving to a time when we can claim more personal independence for ourselves from all the systems. Marriage is a system too, and I'm not dissing it. If you're happily married, that's awesome. Okay, but I think the dark cult invented all of those systems, and some people just try to fit into it, and they just don't. I might be speaking about my own self here, but it's like it's not for everybody. And like relationships are different than we've been told they were. Like obviously every system is a lie. So this says self-reliance and thinking more like that. Thinking about that, very Aquarian. And we're entering the age of Aquarius. So everybody's going to need to learn to be for themselves and be okay with being a sovereign, independent being.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll try to pick one more or two more questions. We're 52 minutes in, and then we'll do the main reading at the end. I wanted to bring this up again. People were asking. So yes, the coupon code, 10% off. Janine Jailbreak is the coupon code for the Insider Access Pass membership. And you probably have 2 or 3 days left on that one. And Janine and I will probably be making an update video next week as we know more here on what's happening with the Sending Ravens channel. Hopefully you guys can send us energy and support us here so we can resolve that situation as fast as possible. Now, on top of that, I also had another quick update to give you guys. Let me see where I put that. There's a lot of stuff on my deck. I think I just lost it. Okay, here. So Julie and Elena, you guys can take a screenshot of this and read it later, but essentially she sent out an email to everyone. I think we're almost at the end of the queue of that huge order that came in when we did the first launch of the show with the candles. So Julie did email everybody today. If you haven't seen your email yet and you're wondering where's your candle, it's on the way. These guys have been working night and day to produce all of these things. And of course, some of you are already receiving the candles. Take a snapshot of this here. Everybody absolutely loves the candles they've received. So a lot of great love and positive feedback. Just amazing stuff. So just so you know, that first order, I think by if I'm not wrong, by Sunday or Monday, they will be done with that first week of order when we launched the show. That was the biggest one. There was like, oh my God, it was absolutely crazy. And then they'll be pretty much on cue with the 2-week delay after that for the production, the shipping. Of course, all of these are made by hands for you guys. So we're almost there. So fear not, the guys are working here night and day for you guys. So here they are in their boxes. And I think that was just this morning. So there's a lot happening at Maison Jupiter. So of course, if you guys are looking for these candles too, you can find them at maisonjupiter.com. There you can find the candles with the amazing Elena. And I believe the coupon code there also is BeyondMystic. And that will give you, let me see if I have that. Yes, 10% off also on these amazing candles. Oh, you got that for your birthday.
I got it. Oh, it's so beautiful. I just love it.
I love it too. I have mine here
love it.
also. Let me bring that up also because a lot of people keep asking for these too. Where do I get these personalized birth charts? You can do so at maisonjupiter.com. Julie makes these by hand, of course. She's a graphic designer, and she puts all of the astrological content for you. And she also provides you with a 12-page, this is an electronic product, a 20-page or so report, a PDF on all of your main alignments, how they work, and how to understand your birth chart. Absolutely amazing product. So you guys, you can check that out. And for that also, the same coupon code BeyondMystic does work for that as well. If you're in the Insider Access Pass group right now and you did receive your BeyondMystic silver bars, send me the picture. I'll try to put them in before the end of the show. If you guys are not in lag time and watching it, I'd like to put at least one, because a lot of people, somebody was just saying, oh my God, JC, I'd love to see that, the silver with the crystals, because a lot of people are doing exactly that with that. So if not for tonight, we'll do it for next week. Okay, let me see. We'll do one more question. And then we'll go to the general May 5 reading. I think we'll close the show on that. We're 55 minutes in. So let's do this one here. Originally, a lot of financial analysts who are not on TV were suspecting that perhaps it would be China that would usher us into this gold back standard return. Now, what we're seeing, of course, is that it's Russia, but it appears that perhaps Russia will be helping China reach their target of maybe $10,000 an ounce gold, because that's about what they would need, China, to solve a lot of their financial problems right now. Of course, you and I have talked about Evergrande quite a bit in the last couple of months, but apparently that would be their target number. And the question is right now, is Russia helping, or are they working together here to continue to solidify this new gold-backed currency, all the while the West is pretending that it doesn't exist and wants to force more burning paper fiat down our throats? What's happening with these two guys?
Yep. I think they're discussing and talking about going forward with something. And it is going to bring a price difference to gold. This is the near future, so maybe not that amount overnight or anything, but they'll reach the goal. So that goal you mentioned, that 9 of Cups tells me they're going to reach it, but they're getting a lot of flack, and there's a lot of hoops to jump, but they're going to iron it out. This card says they'll work it out, but there's just some things they got to iron out first, but they're working it. So they're working on it.
Okay, so they are working on it. Okay, I thought so too. And a lot of people are saying, wow, 10,000 an ounce. That's just for starters. That's just for starters. Again, we're talking about major numbers for gold and silver. And again, if you go back and watch the Astro Woo show, let me bring that up. This one here. And the Beyond Crypto Woo, the forecast for May, we give you the timing of silver and gold, and also some of these targets, and also what's happening with crypto, those who are going to move and those who are not. It's a very volatile month, guys. Again, please support us by watching these shows. They're absolutely cool. And also, they're all included in the Insider Access Pass membership. So if you want to try that out. Now, okay, so that's it for gold and silver. Let me bring up, okay, so there's 2 pictures here from the Insider Access Pass. Let me bring this one up. This is a cool design. Not sure who this is from. Can I say the name? JD Patriot. Okay, nickname. JD Patriot. I can say that. I love that. Nice. Okay. Not the one with the crystals I was hoping for, but I'll put them anyways. Who's this one? This one is from Jenna R. Thank you, Jenna. I love these two. Absolutely amazing. Yeah. They're really nice. I'm really happy about this product. Yeah. And okay. I'll let you know. I'm working on a 3rd design. So there's going to be a trifecta of bar so that you can do your sacred geometry, of course, with your crystals. And the 3rd one is going to be a must-have. If you already have the first 2, you guys are going to be absolutely delighted to see the next one. Okay, Janine, let's get into May 5. What's May 5? On? Yeah, let's do a general reading. Go back to Vicky Joe, Amy's. Yeah, please read May 5th. Again, there's a lot of people out there, including Carrie Cassie and us, that were focusing on that date. Now, if you look at the astrology, you and I and Julie have been talking about that we're in the sphere of influence. It doesn't need to be the 4th or the 5th. It started with the first eclipse on the 30th and the 16th of May being the 2nd eclipse. And of course, there's time on both sides of that as well. So we're in that orb of influence right now. But let's see what the cards have to say for the 5th.
Well, there's definitely some big action or activity, and it could be military variety, but we could have a delayed knowing about it. I wish this card wasn't here, but
Yeah.
a delay, and it's something that's been actually going on in the background that they've been hiding. So something might become more obvious with the military. A real brazen move is what these are kind of brazen together. That's an old-fashioned word, I know. So sort of obvious. And they haven't been as obvious as we'd like them to be, right? But then this card says the two. So we could have a delay where we don't hear about it right away, but we hear about it shortly after, not very long after though. And it's definitely the good guys doing it and something for the good of humanity, where something shifts for the good of humanity. And interesting, here we go with this card again. Okay, so it's everything looks like it's universal timing, patience and perseverance. This is universal timing. We are moving to a sovereign and independent and self-reliant humanity. We're getting there, you guys. That's where we're going. So it's a move that moves us closer to that as our outcome.
Wow. Powerful indeed. Okay. I made a mistake earlier. Let me correct that. Oh, well, actually, let me add this one first. There's a few things here we need to finish the show on, because I mentioned to the folks we do the Roe versus Wade before the end of the show. So we'll take an extra to do that. But this is Cliff High posting this out this morning. And this was in relation to his earlier prediction of the May 9th time frame. So he says, okay, that was wrong. The financial event on May 9th, it was actually occurred today on the 4th. So thus this may move forward the reactions, because again, in his previous forecast, he said something on around the May 9th. We might not know about it, but we would start feeling it on around the 19th and onwards. So that is what he's saying now could be brought forward here. Again, all in this orb of influence here inside of our two eclipses. So if you haven't followed Cliff High already, Sci-Fi World is his handle on Telegram. Okay, so the last one, Janine, was the Roe versus Wade yesterday, or actually Monday night while we were live. Just as we were ending the show, I saw that the decision had been leaked, or at least we were told it was a leak or official leak. I'm not sure what was happening there. There seemed to be a lot of weird subterfuge happening ever since. You just did a video here today also on Tarot by Janine. Do you want to explain to the audience maybe a little bit there, and maybe if there's enough time, I'll ask you for a specific question. What's in this video, Janine?
Yeah, so I looked at who really leaked it. Was really leaked, or was that sort of an obvious signal, blah, blah, blah. We looked all around it. So it looked like it was given or handed to or manipulated by the white hats to be leaked by what appeared to be a liberal court. I don't know what they're called, something to do with the courts. Someone who would have had their hands on it or have availability to it, somebody who worked in the courts. And they were literally, it was laid out for them, or they were tricked into leaking it, is how I got it. So it was actually a white hat move, even though a lot of people are saying it's a black hat move. I got it was a white hat made to look like a black hat move. And down the road, it's going to come in useful. I don't know exactly. I got a few reasons why that might be. And a lot of people did some digging. And I got the whole idea of it was to get everyone digging, because things weren't what they appeared. And of course, a lot of things came out, even in the late 70s, about what really the woman was paid off to say what she said.
Right.
So the woman it was all around, was the whole thing was made up, really.
Right.
So, yeah, and she was paid off. So it was obviously a setup to create this situation that would create the Supreme Court taking action on that, which was unprecedented at the time, because all of the different states are supposed to make their own decisions about things like that.
And when you think about it, this is an old ruling. And again, it's just now being brought back into our field. And I'm not belittling the importance of this topic. Everybody has the right to talk and to have their views met. This is the whole point of this show here, whether you agree with one side or the other. But the point is, they're bringing this at this most critical time where everything else is collapsing, yet they're going to throw this other distraction on top of it all. And this is a very polarizing distraction at that. It's in election world, this is the killer question that no politician wants to answer, at least very few. So of course, it's already creating havoc here in our political sphere. It was all over talk radio here today. So it's just interesting how, again, another convergence of convergence is happening this time. Okay, well, folks can go watch your video on Tarot by Janine. Guys, remember to like, share, and subscribe while you're there on Tarot by Janine. Let me bring this back up. And also, if you haven't already, move over to Sending Ravens. Hopefully subscribe to that one. Hopefully we can fix what is broken in the background there. And last but not least, please do come over here to Beyond Mystic 3, Jean-Claude at Beyond Mystic 3, and subscribe here as well. A couple of cool shows coming up. Friday night, Joe, the Wacky Woo. And we're going to have a special guest also. It's going to get really wacky. I'm telling you, this Friday night is going to get really wacky. I just got confirmation actually today, so I forgot to change the poster there. But yes, it's going to get wacky. So you want to join us there Friday night. Next week, of course, normal schedule. I'm a little bit slow behind on all the other production shows, guys. I'm crazy in a rush right now. Spring is here, the greenhouse, house repairs, all the stuff happening at the same time. So I'm trying to limit as best I can here my shows for at least this week or next week, and then I should be back up to the normal production. But we are still doing all the pay-per-views in the back. Jenny and I are recording again tomorrow, I believe, at 11 a.m. So that'll be up for you guys on the Insider Access Pass and also on pay-per-view, probably by Friday at the very latest. But I wanted to bring your attention to this one, the Divine Feminine Oracle show. We are going to be looking at past lives. This is going to be one of the most, I've been wanting to do this show for a long time. So there's a lot of cool stuff in there. We kind of touched upon it on our last Starseed show, I believe it was, on the pay-per-view. But we're going to be bringing this to the forefront here. So this is going to be next Thursday night at 8 o'clock Eastern. So set your calendars for that one. We're going to have a lot of fun with you guys. I'm Jean-Claude at Beyond Mystic. This was another tarot tarot reading by Janine. Like, you think I would know that by heart by now, Janine? I need to go to bed. I love you guys. I love you, Janine. Thank you so much, folks. And thank you so much, everyone in the PayPal tip jar. I'll announce the winner of that beautiful pyramid tomorrow morning. Have a great evening, guys. We'll see you soon. Au revoir.
Au revoir.